25 BP Guru. It's been a hot minute since we've done a video on the Pokemon stuff. So today we're going to be covering the Pokedex or the Ring Dex or your index, whatever you want to call it, as this will ultimately also be in the capture code. So I'd rather do this first and then cover the capturing in the next episode, so that we can kind of get it all working in one go. We don't have to kind of go back and change any of our code. So the first thing we're going to need is three things. We're going to need 2 widgets and a strut. So the strut is very, very simple. It's just an index number, a name, and a boolean whether it has been caught. So that's just 3 things. Very, very simple strut. But what this is doing is it's going to drive the build of the Ring Dex when we create it. So what do we do with that strut? Well, we're going to put that onto our third-person character, I believe. Let me just double check that is true, because I'm pretty sure that's where it's going. But let's just double check. But basically, with this, we can then. Oh no, sorry, I'm pretty sure I put this in our trainer information, in that trainer strut. I did indeed. It's in the trainer strut. So find your trainer structure, which has all like your trainer ID, your trainer name, the money, and all the other inventory bits, and just stick that ring dex into there, so that we can call it when we need it. You can see I'm doing a check here with M, so I'm using the M press just to build my ring dex. That was just for testing purposes. You don't actually need that. And as mine's working now, I can delete it. There we go. So with that being said, we can now go into our first widget, which is our Ring Dex entry widget. So this is going to be built every time we have a new entry into our Ring Dex. So, excuse me, the first thing we need to do is just create this. Mine is set at a width of 410 and a height of 50. All it's got is a text block, which is in there. It's got a caught image in there. And it's also got a button on the top of it, which I have set the occupancy to 0. So you can't see the button, but the button is there, is the general idea. And that's the only things in there. There's nothing in the event graph, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And I believe there are no... nothing on there, nothing binded to change anything, nothing's being done in here. It's literally just getting the look down. So I've just put an image in there with the grey background. I've put the name, so just a text box there. But these are set up to be variables. That's something I probably should say. I have ticked the is a variable symbol on there, so we can call this when we need it. So once you've done this, just create your new Ring Dex widget, which mine looks like this. It's very basic for now. It's just to get the functionality down. In here will be obviously all the information, like the Pokedex information, which I haven't done yet, but this is just getting it working. You should all be able to, at this point, create whatever you want in your Ring Dex section here, like all the Pokedex entry, the image, the names, heights, weights, values, all that stuff. You should be able to do in here without me showing you. So it's just getting this bit here working, which is a size box with a scroll box. So you can get a scroll box just by typing a scroll, and you get the scroll box. And I've wrapped it with a size box. If you want to wrap something, just right click and then just go to wrap with, and you get a scroll box. No, sorry, not a scroll box, a size box. And the reason for the size box is just so it doesn't stretch out or move when we create this widget on other applications. So it's always going to stay this size on screen. That's my plan anyway. So, excuse me, once you've got your scroll box, which is the main thing we want from this, the rest of this, as I said, is all just design stuff that you guys should be able to sort of work out. But the scroll box is what's important to get this working. So once you have your scroll box, I've called mine ringmon list, and I've set it to a variable. And then we can go into our graph. So firstly, when we click on something, so the on clicked button, we're going to want something to happen. This is the close button, by the way. So if I go back to the designer, this is this button at the top right here. That is just so we can close the menu down. So just again, it's a remove from parent, create the pause menu, so the pause menu will come back up and we add that to the viewport. That's all we're doing with the close button. I'll show it all working in a moment. So the next thing we want to do is we want to basically build out our list of creatures that we've seen or caught. So the first thing we're going to do is on event construct, we've created a new variable. It's an integer called row number. We'll set that to 0. We cast the third person character using the get player character, and we pull out and get our trainer information. From that trainer information, we're going to get that ring dex, and we're going to set the ring dex here so that we can call it when we need it down the line. So we get our ring dex, which is this new set variable, which is here. So again, promote this to a variable. We get it. We get the last index from it, and then we plug that into a for each loop with break, and we set the first index to 1 because there's always going to be something in 0. But we don't have in our Pokedex a 0 entry. So we don't want to build 0. 0 will always be blank. So we do 1 to whatever the last thing is in our ring dex index. Then we do a get function. And we plug that index into here. And then we break this this pin that was here, we break it. So if I redo this, let's do a get again. Get reference. This is all this is, but all I've done is I've right clicked on this end pin here and I've gone split structure to get that. That's all I've done to get those three things. So if you're wondering where that index name and caught came from, that's how I've done it. We then create ringdex entry widget and we add it as a child. So pull out from this, say add child. No, it might be from this ringdex list. Add child. There we go. Okay, we add the child, and to get that we just pull out this ringdex list from here, which is that scroll box. We then add the child, and then we can plug this into here like that. That's how I've done that. So that will add the child. Okay, and then we say, is this name blank? The reason we're doing this is because we don't want just a load of blank boxes that have nothing in there. We want it to have something in there, right? So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, if it's blank, we haven't got an entry in that index. This will make sense later on, I promise, because we're going to use a set array element, just for those who already know what that does. So we say, okay, is that entry blank? And if it is, we say question, question, question mark, dash, question, question, question mark, which like you see in the main games. And then we set that visibility of the caught image to false, to hidden, hidden. We set the visibility of the caught image to false. And that is this thing here, okay? This little square at the end, we're setting that to invisible. That's what we're doing. And then we're setting this text box to question mark, question, question marks, dash, question, 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 question. Right, okay, hopefully this is all making sense. So, so yeah, we get the ringmon name, we set that to question mark, question mark, question mark, dash, question mark, question mark, question mark, if this is true, if this equal is 0, okay? And then we set the core image to hidden. Now, if this isn't equal to none, or 0 or empty or blank, whatever, we set the text as follows. We get the ringmon index, we put it into a string append, we then do a dash, a space, then dash, then space, then we put the ringmon name into the second, into C. We do a to text and we plug that in as the ringmon name, okay? And then what we do is we do a check to see if we've caught it. If it's true, we set the caught image to visible, and if it's hidden, if it's false, we set it to hidden. Okay. Hopefully this is all making sense. It's a bit confusing, but hopefully it is all making sense. So just to re-go through it, we're getting our ringdex. We're doing a loop between 1 and the last index. So if it's like if we send 10, it'll do an index down to 10. And then we're going to add a ringdex entry for every single one of these. Okay, that's why we're not coming off the completed. We're just looping the body. We're looping this every time until we've gone through the whole of the index. And then we add the child, so we add this as a child to the scroll box, that Ringmon list, the scroll box. We then check to see if the entry that we've added is equal to none or 0. If it is, we do the question marks and then we hide the caught image. If it's false, we do have a name in there. We are getting the Ringmon index and the Ringmon name, and we're setting the text of our Ringmon name to that with a little dash in the middle. And then we're doing a secondary check to see if we've caught it, and if we have, we allow this image to be seen. If we haven't, it's false. Okay. And just to show you this working, we're going to test this now. It's being very slow. I do apologize. Let's press T. We got our Ringdex. There's nothing in there. And then if we close that menu and I go for Oster, let's go in there. Oster, we've got Oster. If we get our menu back up, we go to Ringdex, and as you can see, it's built all the way down to Oster at number 7. So that's what's happening basically. You can see it's added the number and the name, and it said I've caught it. Let's close the menu. Let's enter a battle. Okay, here we go. Now I'm not going to catch Yorkie. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just fight it, and then by doing that, hopefully we can we'll see the thing come up. None. Okay, something's happening right now. I don't know what's happening, but that's fine. We'll fix that. Okay, I've had a bug. I think it's because I'm implementing multiplayer and it's messing everything up a little bit. That's fine. That's okay. Let's see what happened. None trying to access. Dismiss. Battle proxy. Okay, it's not firing through my thing. I think that's because I've replicated it and I'm not doing that in the battle world. That's fine. Okay. Well, I've got to fix that. I'm doing multiplayer at the minute, so it's kind of expected to happen. There's going to be a few things that break. So obviously yours should also be working. It shouldn't be broken like mine is at the moment. So what we need to do now is we just need to tell the widget or the Ringdex to add something in, which should be simple enough. If we open up our battle proxy code, this should be the final step now in adding in the code. So if we go back to our event graph, I did show this earlier when we were doing the code, but I said don't worry about this until today, and this is the reason, because we needed to actually implement it properly. So when we begin we're spawning in our characters, that's when we want to add a Ringdex entry. So as you can see here, I'm spawning in the encounter, I'm spawning in the trainer. We then do the camera switch, and then I add my Dex entry. So I've set up a new function, excuse me, to allow this. And what we're doing is it's actually quite simple. We're getting our third-person character, we're breaking that trainer strut, and we're getting that trainer info Ringdex, the Ringdex essentially. Okay, this has been replicated as well. So potentially this could also be causing some issues, but that's fine. So we do a get on this. We then also get the third-person character. We get the current Ringmon we're fighting. We get the Ringmon build strut. We get the basic information. We want that ID number and we want that name. So the ID number is a get. Is going into the get of the Ringdex, and the reason for that is we're just checking to see if it contains that that get. So for example, if our Ringdex was empty and this index number was 10, it's going to go into here and say 10, get the 10. Okay, we're then going to say, okay, does it contain that 10? If it's false, we set our Ringmon scene, which is the index. This is just the strut, the Ringdex strut, by the way. It's just a variable I've created for wherever it's gone. I can't see where it's gone. I think I've put it up into a special thing, maybe. No, don't know. Where is it? I can't see where it is. Here it is. Yeah, so it's the Ringdex in. So the Ringdex entry strut we created for the Ringdex is what this variable is. Just set that as that struct. So what I'm doing is I'm setting that, and what I'm doing is I'm making sure if it doesn't contain this in our ringdex, we set the index number to the ringdex index, we set the name to the ringmon name, and then we set caught to false, and then we add that in to this set array element. And the array element is the ringdex. The index will be the index number of the creature we've just seen, and the item we're adding is this created ringdex entry we've just made. So what if we have seen this? What if we have caught this? Oh, okay, yeah, I remember now. So if we don't rewrite the information, it will just get removed. Okay, this is a bug I found out about. So basically, the way I got around it was I did another branch check to see if this get has been caught. If it has, we don't want to do anything. But if it's not been caught, we can just push it back through to the ringmon scene and then set the array element again. So it's kind of like a double check to make sure it is definitely still added to the ringdex, because I had this weird bug where it just wouldn't appear. Or no, it would appear the first time and then just disappear. Or if we had caught it, it doesn't. It's just a really weird bug. I can't even explain what it was doing and why I was getting it. But this was the solution, was adding this caught check. And if it was caught, if it wasn't caught, but we had seen it, we would just reset the element. It doesn't do anything bad. It doesn't like set up a second array element, because it's only overwriting that same index. So it works this way. I got it working. But yeah, obviously it's not going to be working now because the update to my multiplayer has kind of bugged out the battle arena. But that's fine. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Hopefully this has got you a working Pokedex, and now that we've done that, we can move on to capturing. I've obviously got to refix my bit I'm working on before we do that, so it could be a little while before we actually see another episode, and probably another week. But yeah, hopefully by next week, or at least I will show you the code anyway, because I know it works. I've tested it a lot. But either way, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, hit that sub button. It's free to do. You can always change your mind. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.